Now that we have our store populated with our products, our pagination, everything we're going to need for this template, let's update the template by creating a selector. So we'll create a selector that will update our products shopping page and also the products admin page. So we set up all of our actions, we created our effect, we updated our reducer, we have all the information in our store. So now we're ready to set up the selector. We're at this stage and we'll use this selector to grab all the information we're going to need so we can update our views. Inside of the product selector file, and we created this a couple of videos back, and we're automatically importing our create selector and also our create feature selector from the store. And we'll need to import one more thing for now, and we'll import our reducer file, and I called it product reducer. And now we're ready to select a slice out of our store. And I'm going to call this select product state, and we're using the create feature selector, and we're passing in the state from our product reducer. Then here you pass in a string, and that is the key name. And this is how we're going to grab an entire slice from our store. If we go back to the front end and we look at this right here, the products, we're grabbing this entire slice now. And we're going to have that inside of the select product state. So now we can select things from this by using the create selector. And I'll add that right here. And I called it select all products. And we're using our create selector. And we're passing in the slice, the select product state. And here you'll notice a difference than what we did in prior modules. We're using the select all. And that is coming from the reducer file. And that is the adapter we set up within the reducer file. And if we check that out, so I hit Control P, and then we'll open up the product reducer file. And inside the product reducer file, we have access to this adapter. And this was automatically created for us when we generated our product reducer file. And down at the bottom, we're using this get selectors. And this get selectors gives us a bunch of functions that we could use to get information from our store. Like in our case, we're using the select all. And this is just a plain function that returns us a product array. So these are very useful for selecting information from your store. And we'll create another selector. This selector will grab our pagination information whenever we need it. So I called it select pagination. We're using the create selector. And then we'll pass in the entire feature like we did here. And in this case, we're grabbing the pagination information. So whenever we want the pagination information, we'll just call on this. And we want to create one more selector. And the job of this new selector is to return everything we're going to need for our products view model and also the product list view model. And what's amazing about these selectors is you can create them and pass them into other selectors like we're doing here. So we're passing in the select pagination and the select all products, and we're passing all that information into another function. And then we're returning this object right here, this products view model object. And that's our pagination and products information. That's everything we're going to need for that view model. And let's go ahead and set up this product model. We'll import our model file at the top here. And that should take care of all those errors. Now that we created our selector, let's update our view. And we'll want to update two pages. We'll want to update the shopping page, and that is this page right here. And then also when you're logged in as the admin, we want to update the products admin page as well. So we'll open up the product list component, and also we'll open up the products component as well. We could clear up our window here, just close everything down, and then we'll open up our components. So we'll start inside the product TS file, and then the HTML, and then also we'll open up the product list TS file and HTML. And inside the product.component file, I'll add in our new selector at the top. We'll import that. And then we'll also need to make sure that we're bringing in our store, and we are, and it's right here. And up here, we'll create a brand new variable. This is going to be storing our entire view model. And I'll just call it VM for short. And we'll need to make sure we bring in our observable from RxJS. And we're using that interface we set up inside of our selector, and that's called products view model. So we'll be expecting this back every time we call on our new selector. And now we're finally ready to call on our new selector, and I'll add that within the ng on in it, right towards the end here. So we're setting our new view model with whatever we're getting from our selector. And we'll make sure we bring in the select from NGRX. And now we need to update our template with this new variable. So I'll save this file, and then we'll jump into the HTML. And in the wrapper container, this div right here, I'll add in the ngIf directive. And we'll use the async on our new variable. That's an observable. And now we have this variable we could use throughout the template. So we'll need to update this. Now it's not just the products, it's the VM products. So vm.products. And then also we'll need to change the pagination down here. So it's no longer just pagination, it's VM pagination. And that's it for updating our products component HTML. We can save this. Let's check this part out, make sure this is working before we update the product list component. And this is looking really good. And here's our pagination. Now this isn't going to work because we're not dispatching our action from the right location. And we'll actually go ahead and take care of that. And then we'll also take care of this page, get this working as well. We'll jump back inside the products component and we'll take care of this real quick. Instead of dispatching the action from here, we'll dispatch it from our load products. So it will update our pagination every time we load a list of products. And I'll remove this here, just cut this out here. And then we could just reinstate this just the way it is. And then here, we'll comment this out and we'll be changing this around in the next video when we set up our side effects. And then here is where we'll dispatch the action right at the top here. And we can remove all of this and just pass in the URL that's being passed in. And that should take care of our pagination issues. And back here on the shopping page, the browser automatically refreshed. And then if we go down to our pagination, and that is working great. If we go to the last one and back to the first one, so our pagination is working really good. Now we're ready to take care of the admin products page. We'll do this next. So we'll need to do exactly what we did in our product TS file. At the top, we'll import our selector. And then we'll need to set up a new variable for our view model. I'll add that at the top up here. So that's our view model, and we'll make sure we bring in the observable from RxJS. And then now we need to select our information, and we'll do that from within the ng on it, and I'll add that right towards the end right here. And we're calling on our new selector, and we're populating our variable. And we'll make sure we pull in the select from NGRX. And then here, like we did in the products component file, we'll move this. I'll cut this out right here. And we'll dispatch this from within our load products. And in the next video, we'll be removing all this when we set up our side effects. For now, I'll just comment it out and then we'll dispatch our action right here. You could remove this and add in the URL that's being passed in. And then here we can reinstate this part right here. Now that the product list component is set up, let's jump into the HTML. And in the outer container, I'll add in the ngIf directive. And now we'll have access to this VM variable. And then we'll make sure we change this from products to VM products. And then also the pagination as well. And we just set up the product admin section. Let's check this out. The products admin section is looking really good. So we're getting 25 products. And also if we check out the pagination, if I click on next, and we'll go to the last one, back to the first one. So our pagination is working as well. And now you notice our side effects are no longer working, like we don't get the spinner in the center anymore. And let's take care of that in the next video by creating more effects.